What's up, guys? This is Nighthawk Dude, and it's been a while. It's been a few months since I put out a video, and you might have noticed something different is I got a new bike. That's why I have not put out a video. I've been trying to keep the miles off the Nighthawk while I was trying to sell it. As you guys probably saw in my last video, the Nighthawk was for sale. But this is my new bike, man. This is awesome. It's a 2007 VFR 800 Anniversary Edition, meaning it's the red, white, and blue graphics, decals, etc. that match the 1986 to 89 or some shit. This bike is awesome. It's super fast. It's got twice the power of the Nighthawk, and this is definitely a lot more aggressive seating position. The Anniversary Edition, it feels that they put a little bit lower clip-ons on here, and yeah, it's just an awesome bike. I got this about a week ago. I got an awesome deal on it. This guy wanted to trade me for this bike for my Nighthawk, but I ended up not doing that deal. I ended up selling my Nighthawk at a pretty good price, and this VFR needed a little bit of work done to it. Needed a chain cleaning, an oil change, and this needed to be cleaned overall. But this bike KBB's for $5,000, and I negotiated the price down to $1,850. So I got this thing for a fucking steal. And this VTEC on this thing is fucking awesome. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these VFRs, these Honda VFRs, but basically below 6,800 RPM. Oh, birdie. Probably a bad area for a video, but oh well. There's less valves that open up, and at 6,800 it opens up to 2 valves per cylinder, and the sound in the engine just comes alive. To kind of describe the feeling, it's like a turbo kicking on in a car, and this thing just fucking is a rocket. This thing's awesome for touring, and it has just a shitload of power. Like I said, it did need some work. One thing about it is that it does need a new speed sensor, so the speedometer doesn't work right now, which is fine because I have a GPS speedometer. I don't have it on right now because I'm just cruising around, but the speedo fix, I took apart the bike, and it's basically a $26 fix. I just haven't had the time to do it. I've been working, and I'm just kind of enjoying riding it too much to really care. Although I will say, when the speedo was working, I'm always speeding on this thing now. Basically, the Nighthawk in first gear would max out at about 50 before I have to change gears. This thing, in first gear, I've got up to 70. Second gear, without even looking down the speedometer, I was at like 110, and I probably could have had more. People underestimate these bikes just because of the CBRs, the thousands. They think that this bike is slow, but this thing is this thing's a beast. Pretty tame under 6,500 RPM, but once those valves open up, holy shit, this thing's a rocket. I love it. This light never reads the bike. Yeah, these V4s, man. I had a lot of love for inline 4s, but since I've had this bike, I don't think I can go back. These V4s are awesome. People love the Aprilia RSV4 for the V4, but with the VTEC on this bike, it just sounds so much better. I've heard the RSV4 in person. It's just so quiet. I mean, this thing, you don't even need an exhaust. This thing stock has a full titanium exhaust. I'm not going to change it. There's really nothing I want to change about this bike except for cosmetically. I want a new windscreen. Obviously, I want to fix the speedo, and I think I'm going to put some new rear sets on it and a new seat. The seat's kind of uncomfortable on this thing. I think I'm going to put a Sargent seat on it. It's got a nice rear cowl you can take on and off. On the Nighthawk, my fiance didn't really want to ride on the back with me. This one, she's all for it. I'm not really into racing or anything, but you know, the Nighthawk 0 to 60 was like 5 seconds. This thing does 0 to 60 in about 3.5. I haven't recorded at any time yet because the speedo's not working anymore. But either way, I bought this thing for a lot less than what it's worth. Even if I put a few $100 into it, I'm still ahead of the game. Sounds fucking awesome. It's funny too, because you know, I really wanted a Suzuki. I was all for the Suzukis. I was either gonna get a G6R 750, or I was looking at the SV1000S, which that bike's a beast as well. I'm just not really a fan of the V-twin engines. They have a little less smooth. They're a little more shaky, but they got a lot of torque. But this thing has the same amount of torque as the SV1000S, and this thing's fully faired, so you don't feel as much wind as you would on the SV1000S. Given the SV1000S has a front fairing, but it's not fully faired. You know, it's a lot easier to do maintenance on, but I mean, I could be going 100 plus miles an hour in this thing. You don't feel much wind at all. In the SV1000, it would have been kind of miserable, just like the Nighthawk. The Nighthawk I didn't like taking on the freeway. And to those of you who subscribe just for the Nighthawk, I'm sorry, but at least I got another Honda. Like I said, this wasn't even in my wheelhouse. I wasn't even looking at these VFRs until this guy contacted me for a trade, and then I kind of backed off the trade and offered him cash, and he took it. You know, I sold the Nighthawk on a Saturday morning, and I bought this on a Saturday night, same day. I'll go take it to this parking lot and we'll go have a look at it. What the fuck are you riding? Fucking bitch riding my ass. God, it's Idaho drivers, man. Take it behind here, take a look at the bike. This is it, guys. This thing's beautiful. Like I said, it's got the anniversary edition graphics, decals, red, white, and blue paint scheme. I'm not a big fan of the front of this bike. I like that all the turn signals front and rear are integrated, but I want to put some maybe like the angel eyes on this. The stock mirrors for a sport type bike is pretty good. The seat doesn't need to be rear upholstered, but that's not a big deal because I'm going to replace it anyways. One thing I love is I love this exhaust. It looks pretty badass. It's got the integrated turn signals and LED tail light. It's pretty nice. Stock. It's got that titanium exhaust. Goes all the way to the V4 engine. It's a nice bike. The dash. It's beautiful. See it right there. Speedometer, engine temp, outside temp, tach, fuel gauge, miles, clock, odometer, tripometer. It's awesome. It's got a hydraulic clutch. It's got dual front disc brakes, 3-piston calipers, 1 single disc rear. Obviously it's fuel injected. It's beautiful. Sounds awesome. Alright, enough talk, let's go ride. Gotta be really careful in this thing when cops are in here because this thing just hauls ass. Basically, this model's got 60 pounds of torque that's very linear. Basically from when you first start, and then it just explodes once the VTEC kicks in. This thing will wheelie in the first 2 gears, but this bike is in good condition. There's no fork seal leaks or any shit, and I don't want to make that happen, so this will be my daily commuter. I'm gonna take care of it. There's too much traffic. One thing I get used to on this is the clutch. You know, my Nighthawk had a cable actuated clutch. This is hydraulic. So the release point on this is a little bit farther out than a cable actuated clutch where you can adjust it. Hydraulic clutches you can't adjust as much. Less maintenance as far as, you know, cable stretching, all that type of shit goes. This could take some getting used to. I can't start off as fast off the line as I could with my Nighthawk, but obviously that doesn't matter once I get up and going because this thing hauls ass. What are you waiting for, bro? Go. Alright guys, well, it's kind of a short video, but I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one.